Not all estate planning attorneys are created equal, and picking the wrong one could leave your family with a trust that doesn't work when you need it most. That's a mistake that could cost them thousands of dollars. In this video, I'll walk you through exactly what you should be looking for in choosing an estate planning attorney who will be there for you and for your loved ones over the long haul. First, I think you should choose an estate planning attorney who works as part of a team. In estate planning, you can literally hang out a shingle and start doing estate planning on your own. I know some folks who have done this. But what happens if that attorney gets injured or they die? What happens to their clients? Well, that's no good. Also, if your attorney goes on vacation, who's going to help them keep the matter going forward? It's just going to grind to a halt. That's not very helpful. And the top complaint against all California attorneys, according to the California State Bar, is lack of communication. It's really hard when you're a solo attorney to keep up with all of your clients, to keep in communication with them while doing the estate planning, while running the business, while doing all the marketing. It's basically impossible. So I don't think that working with a solo is a very good idea. But if you're determined to, at least make sure that they have a succession plan in place so that somebody can take care of you if something happens to your attorney. So next, you should work with an estate planning attorney who specializes in estate planning. I know this sounds like a no-brainer, right? But there are some generalist attorneys out there, though not nearly as many as there used to be. So for example, I've heard some family law attorneys say to their clients, once I help you finish up your divorce, I can also take care of your estate plan for you. Or you might have a friend who works in a completely different field from you as an attorney, but you ask them as a favor to do your estate plan and they go, oh yeah, I can probably do that. This is a really bad idea. There's 5 different types of taxes involved in estate planning, and most attorneys aren't taught about those taxes. And estate planning is really, it's like a different language. The generalist attorney probably doesn't understand like 70% of what a trust really says. So they don't know if the trust is actually going to work. That might keep you up at night worrying about that, right? And it can ultimately cost your kids tons of money if the trust doesn't work in the end. Okay, so third, choose an estate planning attorney who specializes in what you really need help with. Many estate planning attorneys have different subspecialties, and you should choose the one that will help you the most. Here are some subspecialties that you might find. Attorneys that specialize in decreasing estate tax exposure. They're called high net worth estate planners. There's some that do international law, who can advise you on cross-border transfers and titling. There's attorneys that specialize in same-sex planning, and there's attorneys who specialize in special needs planning, like us. So find the attorney who specializes in what you really need.
Did you know my mom has a monthly newsletter where she shares helpful information? Click below to join.
Next, you should work with an estate planning attorney who can also help you with the trust administration process when you die. So upon your death, the trust spells out to the successor trustee how to manage and distribute all of the assets in the trust. This process is called trust administration. Now, the trust administration process can be very time-consuming, and there's a lot of paperwork involved. Many estate planning attorneys just don't end up doing this work. But I think it's much better to work with an attorney who does do the trust administration side, because that attorney, first of all, they already know a lot about your case, and you don't have to bounce around between attorneys. And attorneys who do trust administration learn a lot about what can go wrong when a trust is being administered, so then they can modify their trusts to accommodate for that, to make sure that those things don't go wrong for their clients. You see how that works? It gives you a lot more knowledge when you do the trust administration side. So estate planning attorneys who do that trust administration, I think, are superior. Now, I believe you should work with an estate planning attorney who has a lot of experience in the field. Yeah, that sounds pretty obvious, right? But you might be surprised by the chutzpah of many attorneys that decide that estate planning would be a great new practice for them. It seems pretty straightforward to them. There's no deadlines, except when you die. You usually don't have to go to court, and there don't seem to be that many arguments. But let me tell you, the more you work in this field, the more you learn how to deal with different difficult family situations, all the tax issues, problems that can come up if you do an unequal distribution, that sort of thing. And you can have great suggestions for your clients that just don't occur to novice planners. The problem is that you usually don't find out if a trust really works until after you die. And then it's too late, and the successor trustee is trying to administer that trust that the novice attorney really doesn't understand. Now, I think estate planning is a great field to get into, and I don't want to discourage people to move into this field. I think they really should. But I usually suggest to budding estate planning attorneys that they should work under a more seasoned attorney for at least several years to learn the ropes and really get the hang of how to do this work. My next suggestion is to work with an estate planning attorney who's not about to retire. I know this sounds a little mean and maybe even ageist, but I think you'll benefit from an estate planning attorney who can represent you and your family for many, many years. Your life will change and likely you'll update your estate plan several times. So you'll want to know someone who knows you and your family, your values, your goals, and the decisions you've made in the past. So start with an estate planning attorney who is either younger or has a good succession plan built in. And if they have a succession plan, you should meet that attorney who is their succession plan to make sure you get along with them as well. Now, what if you've worked with your estate planning attorney for many years and now they're about to retire? What should you do? Well, I suggest you ask them now who will be taking over their matter when they retire. And then you reach out and meet that new attorney. You might really like the new attorney, or you might choose to look around for a different one that you like. So here at Cookman Law, we don't just draft documents. We guide families through every stage of the process, from planning to administration. If you're in California and you want a long-term relationship with an estate planning attorney that understands the complexities of real family dynamics, especially when special needs trusts or trust administration is involved, our team is here to help. If you're ready to create or update a plan that works for you and your family, reach out to us today.
If this video is helpful for you, share it to someone else who might benefit from it.